all members. We'll get our week's work started. All members, the hour of convening having arrived. All members will please come to the floor and take your seats. Mr. Clerk, will you ring the bell, please? We're going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and Mr. Clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers, will you please close the doors and keep them closed? As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by our chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the lady from the 143rd House District, Representative Anissa Jones. Representative Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today with deep gratitude and great joy to introduce our chaplain of the day, my pastor, Paul Little of Bibb Mount Zion Baptist Church in Macon, Georgia, the church that I am blessed to call my spiritual home. Pastor Little is more than a pastor. He is the husband of First Lady Natalie Little, a shepherd, a teacher, and a faithful servant whose voice brings encouragement, wisdom, and hope to all who hears him. Through his leadership, Bibb Mount Zion stand as a pillar in the Middle Georgia area, uplifting families, strengthening our community, and reminding us that faith must guide our service. Today is my personal honor as a proud member of Bibb Mount Zion Baptist Church to welcome my pastor to this house. I ask you to join me in warmly receiving Pastor Paul Little as he prepares to bring us today's message.
Good morning. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for your warm hospitality and the great conversation we shared. And Dr. Anissa, we're grateful for your service, for your partnership, and for your stellar example, one, as a member of our church, and also as a member of this wonderful house. To all of the members of the house, to the guests that are present, it is so good to be here on today. I am one of several individuals who deal with a very common issue that is known as flight anxiety. A few years ago, I was traveling from Memphis, Tennessee, Mr. Speaker, headed back here to Hartsfield, Jackson, and I found myself on a plane that was dealing with a lot of turbulence. And I'm not sure if you've flown on a plane with some turbulence, but it will make non-religious people religious. And during that time, I remember praying to God in prayer, Representative Jackson. I remember just gripping the seat that was by me. And I thought about the fact that this was such a turbulent experience that I didn't know whether or not I would live or not. I didn't know whether or not this plane would make it. I want you to imagine that you're on a plane and that you are traveling from your home to a native area and you're sitting in first class. Let's just imagine that you're in first class. You're enjoying all of the wonderful amenities of first class. You're enjoying all of the wonderful benefits of first class. You just have a wonderful view, and you're very thankful for that privilege. But something happens in cabin 32, in the rear of the plane. Smoke fills the back of that cabin. The oxygen masks drop from the back of that plane, but in first class, it's not affecting you. You know, one of the things I thought about as I considered that illustration and that analogy, Mr. Speaker, is that what happens on the back of the plane affects those of us who are in the front of the plane. Because what impacts one group directly also impacts all of us directly. And so as we're traveling on this plane that we call the United States of America, it is our responsibility to ensure that all of us are navigating around the various turbulent situations that are happening in our world today. So much that is happening around us, so much that is challenging our faith, challenging our resilience. And as we're on this plane, it doesn't matter if your side of the plane is the right wing of the plane or the left wing of the plane. If that plane crashes, then we all go down. But if that plane happens to land safely, we all land safely and we reach our destination together. As public servants, we have a responsibility to ensure that we're looking out for people in the front of the plane and the rear of the plane, especially those who are the most vulnerable of our society. Jesus called them the least of these, those who are hungry, those who are naked, those who need water, those who need food, those who need assistance in various areas of their lives. And I'm grateful that we believe that our God has given us the influence and the platform to be able to impact all people and to serve those who are afforded and entrusted to our care. As we continue to navigate around all of the turbulence in our world today, let us consider how we can ensure that we're doing our individual part to ensure that the plane flies straight. Thank you for your time. Would you stand with me for prayer and for our pledge of the allegiance? Gracious Father, we are reminded of the words of Isaiah chapter 1, verse 17, which tells us that we are to learn to do good, that we are to seek justice, that we are to defend those who are oppressed, and that we are to look out for those who are orphans and widows. We thank you for our Speaker of the House, for his heart for you and for his heart for equity. We thank you for this chamber. We thank you for every public servant that you've entrusted with the great responsibility of serving the needs of all people. We thank you for the privilege we have of being able to seek you in prayer for wisdom, for counsel, for guidance, and for direction. We pray that you would bless and sanction this day, that your perfect will be done in our hearts, in our lives, in this chamber, and beyond. We thank you for it, and we ask it in your name. Amen. Amen. Let us recite our pledge together. I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
That was perfect. Members, if I could have your attention for one more minute, please. Brother Paul and Representative Jones have a very robust literacy initiative in this church and in their community.
Yes, sir.
They're going to join with at least one of our folks who care about it, Miss Dale Burns, this morning, and talk about how we, in a part of our literacy efforts, can join with him to support literacy in that community, but also set great examples for other folks in the faith-based community across our state. Yes, so thank you, Brother Paul. I appreciate your thoughts. Doorkeepers may unlock the doors. Members, you may join Brother Paul in that South Ante room and thank him for his service and take a photo. Members, our doctor today is Dr. Rob Wilson. He's brought to us by Representative Eric Dissler. We appreciate him being here. If you need him, you know where he is, and take advantage of his services. I think he's an orthopedic surgeon. Not 100% sure, so if you need Dr. Wilson, give him a shout. Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have read your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal of the previous legislative day, and we have found it to be correct.
Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? Hearing none, the reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day?
Representative Administration of the 104th moves following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Hearing none, the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions, the clerk will read.
House Bill 1471 by Representative Davis of the 87th, Scott of the 76th, and Schofield of the 63rd. Bill be titled Act to amend Subpart 2, Part 1 of Article 16 to Chapter 2 of Title 20, the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to compulsory attendance.
Education.
House Bill 1472 by Representative Lim of the 98th. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 2, Chapter 7 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to imposition rate, computation, exemptions, and credits for state income tax.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 1473 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Ridley the 6th, Franklin of the 160th, Scoggins the 14th, and Chokus the 151st. Bill be titled Act to amend Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to local government.
Governmental Affairs.
Bill 1474 by Representative Park of the 107th, Hughley the 141st, Miller the 62nd, Gisler the 121st, Campbell the 35th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 1A of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions relative to early care and learning.
Education.
House Bill 1475 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd, Carpenter of the 4th, Chastain of the 7th, and LaHood of the 175th. Bill be titled Act to amend Code Sections 10, 6B, 53, 31, 32, 7, and 50, 13, 13 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to benefits from governmental programs.
Judiciary.
House Bill 1476 by Representative Hong of the 103rd, Carpenter of the 4th, Fry of the 122nd, Crow of the 118th, Cannon of the 172nd. Bill be titled Act to amend Code Sections 48.7, 40.26A of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to tax credits.
Creative Arts and Entertainment.
House Bill 1477 by Representative Santos of the 117th, Tran of the 80th, Reese of the 140th, Bell of the 75th. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 2 entitled 20 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to the State Board of Education.
Education. Suspend just for a minute, Mr. Clerk. Members, you can continue your conversations, but just do it at a little bit lower level, if you don't mind. That's a little bit of Mr. Clerk. We'll see how it goes. See if I can hear you now. Clerk will proceed.
House Bill 1478 by Representative Santos of the 117th, Holly of the 116th, Douglas of the 78th, and Gahanian of the 81st. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the courts.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 1479 by Representative Sanchez of the 42nd, Evans of the 57th, Campbell of the 35th, Holcomb of the 101st, Santos of the 117th, and others. A bill be titled Act to amend Article 2, Chapter 3 of Title 9 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to specific periods of limitation.
Judiciary.
House Bill 1480 by Representative Sanchez of the 42nd, Roman of the 97th, Cannon of the 58th, Moore of the 91st, Park of the 107th, and others. The bill be titled an Act to amend Chapters 4, Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to public assistance.
Health.
House Bill 1481 by Representative Cannon of the 58th, Bazemore of the 69th, Miller of the 62nd, and Holly of the 116th. The bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 4, Title 1 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to holidays and observances.
Special rules.
House Bill 1482 by Representative Martin of the 49th. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 4, Title 42 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions regarding jails.
Governmental Affairs.
House Resolution 1505 by Representative Jackson of the 128th. A resolution honoring the life of Mr. Geddes Cortez McGee and dedicating a bridge in his memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 1520 by Representative Jackson of the 128th, a resolution honoring the life of Mr. Hassan Rahim Glasgow and dedicating a road in his memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 1521 by Representative Jackson of the 128th, a resolution honoring the life of Mr. David Oscar Cummings and dedicating a road in his memory.
Transportation.
Senate Bill 399 by Senator Harbin of the 16th, Albers of the 56th, Hatchett of the 50th, Burns of the 23rd, Anna Duarte of the 31st, and others. The bill be titled an Act to amend Article 3, Chapter 11, and Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to personnel of emergency medical services.
Health.
Senate Bill 441 by Senator Harbin of the 16th, Williams of the 25th, Huffstetler of the 52nd, Albers of the 56th, Dickerson of the 21st, and others. The bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 83 and Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to local government investment pool.
Budget and Fiscal Affairs Oversight.
Senate Bill 470 by Senator Albers of the 56th, Robertson of the 29th, Bearden of the 30th, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Payne of the 54th, and others. Bill be titled an Act to amend Article 2, Chapter 11, and Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to offenses against public order.
Technology and Infrastructure Innovation.
Senate Bill 472 by Senator Hickman of the 4th, Walker of the 20th, Tillery the 19th, Huffstetler the 52nd, Sims the 12th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia and Territory relating to elementary and secondary education.
Education.
Senate Bill 500 by Senator Hodges of the 3rd, Watson of the 1st, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Walker of the 20th, Harrell of the 40th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 10 of Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia and Territory relating to Georgia Board of Health Care Workforce.
Public and Community Health.
Senate Bill 513 by Senator Dickerson of the 21st, Walker of the 20th, Anna DeVarte of the 31st, Hickman of the 4th, Dixon of the 45th, and others. The bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 20 and Chapter 5 of Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia and Territory relating to elementary and secondary education.
Education.
Senate Bill 535 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd. A bill be titled Act to amend Title 37 of the Official Code of Georgia and Territory relating to mental health.
Public and Community Health.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. Mr. Clerk will read.
House Bill 1452 by Representative Cummings of the 39th, McQueen of the 61st, Sanchez of the 42nd. A bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Municipal Court of the City of Mableton. House Bill 1453 by Representative Werkheiser of the 157th. A bill to authorize the governing authority of Jeff Davis County to levy an excise tax. House Bill 1454 by Representative Ridley of the 6th, Corbett of the 174th, Williams of the 148th, Rhodes of the 124th, Cannon of the 172nd, and others. A bill relating to crimes and offenses. House Bill 1455 by Representative Kendrick of the 95th, McLean of the 109th, Campbell of the 35th, Schofield of the 63rd, Park of the 107th, and others. A bill relating to the Department of Labor. House Bill 1456 by Representative Lim of the 98th, Lupton of the 83rd, Wilkerson of the 38th, and Werkheiser of the 157th. A bill relating to sexual offenses. House Bill 1457 by Representative Lim of the 98th, Lupton of the 83rd, Wilkerson of the 38th, and Carpenter of the 4th. A bill relating to general provisions regarding ad valorem taxation of property. House Bill 1458 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Hong of the 103rd, Gunter of the 8th, and Reeves of the 99th. A bill relating to sexual offenses. House Bill 1459 by Representative Lupton of the 83rd, Drenner of the 85th, Davis of the 87th, Tran of the 80th, and Oliver of the 84th. A bill relating to open and public meetings. House Bill 1460 by Representative Reese of the 140th, Hughley of the 141st, and Buckner of the 137th. A bill to amend an act establishing the State Court of Muskogee County. House Bill 1461 by Representative Reese of the 140th, Hughley of the 141st, and Buckner of the 137th. A bill to amend an act establishing compensation for the Clerk of the Superior Court of Muskogee County. House Bill 1462 by Representative Reese of the 140th, Hughley of the 141st, Buckner of the 137th. A bill to provide for the creation of the Columbus Music Commission. House Bill 1463 by Representative Williams of the 112th, Prince of the 132nd, Cannon of the 172nd, Powell of the 33rd. A bill relating to peer-to-peer car-sharing programs. House Bill 1464 by Representative Kendrick of the 95th, Werkheiser of the 157th, McLean of the 109th, Hawley of the 116th, Campbell of the 35th, and others. A bill relating to the Department of Labor. House Bill 1466 by Representative Ridley of the 6th, Smith of the 18th, Carpenter of the 4th, Douglas of the 78th, Ford of the 170th, and others. A bill relating to exception to three-tier system transfer of liquid sales at brewer licensed premises, taxes, regulatory authority, and conditions or limitations. House Bill 1467 by Representative Fleming of the 114th, Gullett of the 19th, Momtahan of the 17th, Scoggins of the 14th, and Kelly of the 16th. A bill relating to elections and primaries. House Bill 1468 by Representative Clark of the 108th. A bill relating to income taxes, sales and use tax fees, and taxes relative to insurance. House Bill 1469 by Representative Santos of the 117th, Reeves of the 99th, Holcomb of the 101st, Leverett of the 123rd, and Hagan of the 156th. A bill relating to general provisions relative to controlled substances. House Bill 1470 by Representative Kelly of the 16th, Williamson of the 112th, Estration of the 104th, Oliver of the 84th, and Smith of the 18th. A bill relating to false arrest, false imprisonment, malicious prosecution, abuse of litigation. House Resolution 1472 by Representative Lim of the 98th, Lupton of the 83rd, Wilkerson of the 38th, and Carpenter of the 4th. A resolution proposing amendment to the Constitution so as to provide for the assessment and taxation of affordable housing use property. House Resolution 1473 by Representative Schofield of the 63rd, Hawkins of the 27th, Irwin of the 32nd, Scott of the 76th, and Davis of the 87th. A bill creating the House Study Committee on Lupus. House Resolution 1474 by Representative Mathiak of the 82nd, Dubnik of the 29th, LaHood of the 175th, Yerta of the 152nd, Thomas of the 21st, and others. A resolution encouraging the creation of a life science caucus in Georgia, House of Representatives. House Resolution 1475 by Representative Dubnik of the 29th, a resolution creating the Joint Study Committee on Modified Exhaust Systems on Motor Vehicles. House Resolution 1476 by Representative Cooper of the 45th, Smith of the 70th, Owl of the 50th, and Reese of the 140th. Resolution recognizing August as National Immunization Awareness Month. House Resolution 1502 by Representative Jackson of the 128th. Resolution recognizing the life of Mr. Raymond Crawford McGee Jr. and dedicating a bridge in his memory. House Resolution 1503 by Representative Clark of the 108th. A resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution of the State of Georgia so as to provide that General Assembly shall be authorized to provide by law to expend or authorize the expenditure of public funds of the Georgia Property Tax Fairness Fund without the need of benefit in return. House Resolution 1504 by Representative Sanchez of the 42nd, Roman of the 97th, McQueen of the 61st, Barry of the 56th, Cannon of the 58th, and others. A resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to require the General Assembly to provide by general law for the income tax system. Senate Bill 116 by Senator Bearden of the 30th, Robertson of the 29th, Payne of the 54th, Anna Devarte of the 31st, Albers of the 56th, and others. A bill relating to DNA sampling, collection, and analysis. Senate Bill 392 by Senator Albers of the 56th, Tillery of the 19th, Still of the 48th, House Stetler of the 52nd, Gooch of the 51st, and others. A bill to amend the Budget Act. Senate Bill 433 by Senator Strickland of the 42nd, Albers of the 56th, Bearden of the 30th, Eccles of the 49th, Anderson of the 43rd, and others. A bill relating to prestige license plates and special plates for certain persons and vehicles. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees. Mr. Clerk will read.
Representative Robert Dickey, the 134th District Chairman on the Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs has had under its consideration the following bill of the House. Instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1224 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Robert Dickey, the 134th District Chairman. Representative Ron Stevens, the 164th District Chairman on the Committee on Economic Development and Tourism, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Economic Development and Tourism has had under its consideration the following bill of the House and instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 490 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Ron Stevens of the 164th District Chairman. Representative Chris Irwin of the 32nd District Chairman of the Committee on Education submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Education has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. Has instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1206 do pass by substitute. House Bill 1114 do pass by substitute. House Bill 1269 do pass by substitute. House Bill 829 do pass. House Bill 1244 do pass by substitute. House Bill 1327 do pass by substitute. House Bill 1232 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Chris Irwin of the 32nd District Chairman. Representative Victor Anderson of the 10th District Chairman of the Committee on Governmental Affairs submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Governmental Affairs has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. Has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1177 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 1260, due pass by committee substitute. House Bill 1299, due pass. House Bill 1386, due pass. House Bill 1447, due pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Victor Anderson in the 10th District, Chairman. Representative Hawkins, the 27th District, Chairman of the Committee on Health, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Health has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. Has instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 382, due pass by substitute. House Bill 1332, due pass by substitute. House Bill 1309, due pass by substitute. House Bill 1393, due pass by substitute. House Bill 298, due pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Hawkins, the 27th District, Chairman. Representative Chuck Martin of the 49th District, Chairman of the Committee on Higher Education, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Higher Education has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. This instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1363, due pass by committee substitute. House Bill 1379, due pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Chuck Martin of the 49th District, Chairman. Representative Werkheiser, the 157th District, Chairman of the Committee on Industry and Labor, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Industry and Labor has had under its consideration the following bill of the House. Has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Bill 1318, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Werkheiser, the 157th District, Chairman. Representative Gunner of the 8th District, Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. It has instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1028, due pass by substitute. House Bill 1223, due pass by substitute. House Bill 1397, due pass by substitute. House Bill 1403, due pass. House Bill 1414, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Gunner of the 8th District, Chairman. Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary Juveniles, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary Juveniles had under its consideration the following bill of the House. It instructed me to report same back to the House the following recommendation. House Bill 1429, due pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman. Representative Smith of the 18th District, Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary Non-Civils had under its consideration the following bills of the House. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 237, due pass by substitute. House Bill 997, due pass by substitute. House Bill 1432, due pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Smith of the 18th District, Chairman. Representative John Corbett of the 174th District, Chairman of the Committee on Motor Vehicles, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Motor Vehicles has had under its consideration following bills to the House. Has instructed me to report same back to the House with following recommendations. House Bill 1380, due pass by substitute. House Bill 1073, due pass by substitute. House Bill 1465, due pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative John Corbett of the 174th District, Chairman. Representative Clint Crow of the 118th District, Chairman of the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. It instructed me to report same back to the House with following recommendations. House Bill 1436, due pass by substitute. House Bill 1454, due pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Clint Crow of the 118th District, Chairman. Representative Alan Powell of the 33rd District, Chairman of the Committee on Regulated Industries, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Regulated Industries has had under its consideration following the bills of the House. Has instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1254, due pass by committee substitute. House Bill 1428, due pass. House Bill 1446, due pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Alan Powell, the 33rd District, Chairman. Representative Joe Campbell, the 171st District, Chairman of the Committee on Rural Development, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Rural Development has had under its consideration the following bills and resolution of the House and instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1394, due pass. House Bill 1451, due pass. House Resolution 656, do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Joe Campbell, 171st District Chairman. Representative Scoggins, of the 14th District Chairman of the Committee on Special Rules, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Special Rules is that under its consideration the following bill and resolutions of the House, and instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1082 do pass by committee substitute. House Resolution 1445 do pass. House Resolution 1475 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Scoggins, the 14th District Chairman. Representative Rick Jaspers of the 11th District Chairman of the Committee on Transportation submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Transportation has had under its consideration following bills of the House and instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1377 do pass by substitute. House Bill 1434 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Rick Jaspers of the 11th District Chairman. Representative Sean Blackman of the 146th District Chairman of the Committee on Ways and Means submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Ways and Means has had under its consideration following bills and resolution of the House. Has instructed me to report same back to the House the following recommendations. House Bill 1110 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 1116 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 1148 do pass by committee substitute. House Resolution 1114 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Shaw Blackman of the 146th District Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
Members, if you'll come to the floor and come to your desk, we have an invite resolution. Members, if you don't mind being seated, give your attention to the ladies about to speak to a resolution. Thank you, members. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Resolution 1196? Mr. Clerk.
House Resolution 1196 by Representative Ford of the 170th, Osteen of the 169th, Dickey the 134th, Meeks of the 178th, and Huddleston of the 72nd. A resolution recognizing and commending Don Kohler on his outstanding public service as Executive Director of the Georgia Peanut Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Representative Ford, I would love to do this, but I'm going to let you do it because you presented it. But I've known Don Kohler and his wife Cheryl for many, many years and have the greatest of respect for them and the job they've done representing the peanut industry and also representing just being good, decent human beings, because I know some things they've been involved in, and I appreciate both of them. But having said my part, I want to recognize Representative Jacqueline Ford to speak to this resolution that honors a great Georgian. Representative Ford.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, members. I guess as everybody has noticed, today is Peanut Day at the Capitol, and from just being here the last couple of sessions, I have found out that that is everybody's favorite day, Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. As you know, peanuts are a huge economic driver in our state. Georgia produces 51% of the U.S. production, and this industry contributes an estimated $2 billion to Georgia's economy, supporting the livelihood of more than 150,000 Georgians. But today, we have the honor of recognizing, as the Speaker said, Don Kaler. He has his wife Cheryl with him today and some of his board members with the Peanut Commission. Don is retiring as the Executive Director of the Peanut Commission, where he has served since 1986. That's 40 years, making him the longest serving since the commission was established in 1961, excuse me. During his tenure at the Georgia Peanut Commission, Don has overseen the construction of the new state-of-the-art office and education center, helped secure funding for farmers impacted by hurricanes, and successfully led efforts to pass a new 5-year farm bill that will provide a safety net for farmers and economic benefits to the rural South Georgia economy. Don has served as the member of the Agricultural Technical Advisory Committee for Tobacco, Cotton, and Peanuts, which advises the USDA and the U.S. Trade Representative on trade policy issues. He's also served the management of the Southern Peanut Growers, the Southern Peanut Farmers Federation, and on the board of the Southeastern Peanut Farmer magazine. And he was just recently inducted into the Peanut Hall of Fame. Today we recognize Mr. Kaler for the vital role he's played in the peanut industry, where he has advocated relentlessly for Georgia farmers in this industry. We congratulate him on his retirement. His vision and commitment to this industry will certainly be missed. Help me welcome Don Kaler.
So I actually have a couple special guests with me today. One is my wife, who I'm convinced that that a good man has a better woman behind him all too many times, and I'm the epitome of that. I also have somebody that is special to both Jacqueline and me, and that's her son, Jay Manry. Jay Manry played on a baseball team that I helped my son coach. That I had a grandson that was on there, so I was known as Coach Grandpa, right, Jay Manry? Jay Manry was the easiest kid I ever coached. He was just good. He didn't get upset. You could correct him, and he'd listen to you, and he was just easy to coach. But he was the epitome of teamwork. And he believed in the team. And I think that's what really makes life great for all of us. I look at this group here, and I feel so honored to stand in front of you, because you are the team that keeps Georgia great. And Georgia is great. I'm a transplant from a long time ago, and I'm so glad I made it to Georgia, and I never wanted to leave since I've been here. So you are part of the team. I have a team with my board members and with the staff that we have at the Peanut Commission that have helped make things great too. So when you have good people around you, it makes things easy for you. And I've been blessed in that whole 40-year career that I've had. I'm not going to totally go away, but I want to slow down a little bit. And I think Robert Dickey maybe has some things that I'm going to help him with. But I look at finally our representatives here that sponsored this resolution. And I want to tell you, all of them are really great to work with. And they've been a help to me, and I appreciate everybody. Thank all of you. Mr. Speaker, I tried to keep it short as I could.
Members, our guests will be in that south anteroom. If you'd like to speak to Don, some of the members of the Peanut Board, and thank them for their service and what they do for our state from agricultural pursuit with a great, great crop, Georgia peanuts. Thank you, Don. Congratulations. Good luck in your retirement. Members, let's see. We have some morning orders. We have some folks who want to talk about literacy. There you are. Chairman Irwin, Representative Ballard, Rice, and Hilton. We'll talk about, and Dubnik, and some other friends. Going to talk about Georgia Reads Day. And a friend of ours, Malcolm Mitchell. Gentlemen, we'll suspend just for a moment.
Great. Great. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the opportunity to be before you as we're going to recognize some great organizations today and a great person working with literacy. You got a Georgia Reads flyer on your desk out there, and please take a look at that. We're honoring the Share the Magic Foundation Read Bowl champions and our Georgia Reads Community Award winners at 1 p.m. today on the South Steps. If you want a picture, we have a bunch of your constituents that are being recognized, members, and we're happy to have them here and what they are doing, including one of mine from Jackson County that has done a fantastic job. We're really doing and making a change to our children here in this state about reading. We also have somebody that's really made a huge change for us, and that's Malcolm Mitchell. As far as literacy goes, Malcolm, raise your hand. I believe you're up here to the left. There he is, right ahead, Malcolm Mitchell. Folks, as you probably know, Malcolm Mitchell is the CEO and founder of Share the Magic. Malcolm realized as a University of Georgia football player that he wasn't reading proficiently and how it was impacting him. And he has changed lives by not only authoring books, but working with children's and groups to increasing the reading rates of children. We're so proud of Malcolm, so lucky to have you in this state, not only as an athlete in what you did in this state, an athlete, but more importantly, what you're doing for our future of our state in reading. So help me recognize Malcolm Mitchell one more time. One o'clock on the steps, Reads Day champions, right here, South Steps. Thank you, members. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I've heard of that guy, Malcolm Mitchell. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for what you're doing. You're the man. Thank you, members. Members, I failed to inform you all about morning orders. You're always a great complier, Representative Beckles, but we need to hold it to a minute if you can. Very much appreciate it. Representative Beckles is recognized for a morning order, and some friends too, I believe. If some of you want to join Representative Beckles, now would be the time.
We got a minute. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. I welcome the City of Duluth. Could you please stand? I have Mayor Greg Whitlock, Council Member Marlene Thomas, Sarah Park, Shanae Johnson Cummings, Manfred Grader, City Manager James Riker, Assistant City Manager Ken Shamart, City Clerk Teresa Lynn, Economic Development Director Chris McGee, Assistant to the Mayor and City Manager Maria Mija, and I almost forgot, Community Development and Engineer Director Margie Posen. Welcome to the People's House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We yield the well.
Representative Amani Barnes. Representative Barnes. Oh, there she is. Ladies recognized. I couldn't see you for that screen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, today I would like to honor the life of a giant. We all know that there are people that work on our campaigns or that work on civic activities behind the scenes. They're not standing right up front. They don't look for the award. I would like to honor the life of Janelle Green. She is one of those people in DeKalb County that is an advocate for marginalized communities. She helped create the Georgia Alliance for Social Justice. She helped organize the March for Our Lives and was, thank you. As you can see, she's a gentle giant, and she passed a close friend of mine, and one of the reasons I'm in office. So, colleagues, would you please stand with me today to honor the life of a civil servant, Janelle Green. May we all take a moment of silence to honor Janelle. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Thank you for that recognition, Representative Barnes. Very much. Representative Bazemore. The lady's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today because today is District 69 District 69 check-in day, and I have members from my Fayette County High School here, and I would like you to welcome them as they stand. And they will be in room 125 for lunch, so if you please stop in and say hello, they would be appreciative of that. Thank you so much.
Good to have y'all. Thanks for recognizing Representative Bazemore. Good to have y'all in the People's House. Chairman Green. Jim was recognized to make a recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you this morning some individuals that have come from the state of Texas. And this is the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles, and they are visiting our Georgia Board of Pardons and Parole. And we would like to welcome here Marcia Marberly, Timothy McDonald, Pamela Packer, Rachel Alderette, and Jeremy Botello. And in the balcony with our guests is Georgette Holmes, Wayne Bennett, Robert McCarley, Kimberly McCoy, Josh Waters, Chris Barrett, Felicia Holloway, Kristen Kinney, and Steve Hayes. And we're just delighted to have you. Let's give them a warm Southern Georgia welcome. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman Gunther has some folks here from home. By the way, welcome. We appreciate having you all in the People's House. Chairman Gunther.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, up in the gallery, we have a group from my home county and Union County called Leadership Union. They play an important role in Union County by preparing the next generation of community leaders. Participants learn about our region, opportunities and challenges. The program builds lasting relationships, strengthens our business community, and encourages a spirit of service that benefits us all. And each of you have a flyer on your desk that gives a little more detail. This is a great group. This is our future that's up there. And if you would, please welcome them if y'all would stand up.
Representative Osteen and Whit Burchett. Well, the main one is here, Representative Angie Osteen. I don't see Whit Burchett
Thank you,
right
Mr.
now.
Speaker.
Ladies recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Today I'm honored, y'all stand up. Today I'm honored to have a group from the Douglas Coffee County Chamber of Commerce with us here today. This group of leaders includes a group of future leaders from our community. We have some board members, and then we also have some chamber student ambassadors. This group of high school students went through a rigorous application progress and interview process. Once selected, now they volunteer all over our community. They're learning about local government. Today they're learning about state government. I am so honored that you're here. Welcome to the Capitol.
Welcome to your house. This is the people's house. We hope you're enjoying your day here. The Capitol is beautiful, so we want you to come back anytime you will. We certainly want to be a part of what you're doing and appreciate you being involved in your community. Thank you all for being here. Representative Bell, gentleman is recognized for a morning order. Then Representative Al Williams, you're on deck. Gentleman has up to a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for recognizing. Colleagues, today is Lemon Pepper Day at the Capitol. Today is Lemon Pepper Day at the Capitol. Lemon pepper represents a culinary dish that is king to Atlanta, king to Georgia, and whether you're from the sea all the way over to the coast, that you're familiar with this wing. And today in our gallery, we have from very own Atlanta's lemon pepper destination where lemon pepper wet was created is American Deli. In the balcony, we have Miss Carrie from the City Hall location, as well as Valerie Falia, which is the PR for lemon pepper. And we also have supporters of lemon pepper ring in yellow and black. If you all can please stand and be recognized. Lemon pepper is good for business, good for hotels, good for small business and everyone else. Lunch will be post-adjournment in room 502. We'll have wings for you all in room 502. Please come over, support us, and support HB 1013. Thank you. I yield the will, Mr. Speaker.
The wingman, all right. Representative Al Williams. Representative Williams. Gentlemen, wait a minute. Gentlemen, suspend for a moment. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise this morning just to ask for prayer from this distinguished body. Some years ago, Rear Admiral Annie Andrews came, and she sang for this group and spoke to this group. And I ask you to pray. She is the special advisor to the Royal Saudi Navy, and she is in harm's way. And we solicit your prayers for her safe return and God's protection while she sits in the middle of what is rapidly developing into a major war. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. And for your edification, she's one of only 3 African-American women to reach the rank of Rear Admiral in the Navy. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Moore. Representative Angela Moore is recognized for a morning order.
Good morning, colleagues. Today is New Birth Missionary Church Day at the Capitol. I hope that some of the members are still here this morning. We want to recognize you. I also have a resolution for their pastor, Reverend Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant. I hope that he's somewhere around in here, still stuck around. We wanted to recognize him for his visionary leadership in not only food insecurity, but housing insecurity. It's very real in my district, District 91, which is Stonecrest, Georgia. Please give a round of applause and acknowledge the people from New Birth that are here today. Welcome to the People's House. Welcome to the Georgia State Capitol, and welcome to the House of Representatives. We appreciate you being here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative, for that recognition. Representative Derek Jackson, and friends. Representative Jackson. Oh, I saw these folks this morning. They've got a good group here. It's a great organization.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for recognizing them.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think some of them are still up there. We got the Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year finalists. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, it is a privilege to welcome this exceptional group of high school leaders to the gallery today. If you are up there, please stand. These young men and women stand before us as the Youth of the Year finalists, representing Boys and Girls Club organization from every corner of Georgia, having already distinguished themselves with their home organizations and clubs. They're now going to compete for the prestigious title of Georgia Youth of the Year. And so the winner will move on to the national stage. So without further ado, colleagues, if the Boys and Girls Club, are they up there? They're gone? Well, let's give them a round of applause. Oh.
And I am so proud that one of those finalists comes from my district in Rockdale County, Miss Zoe Burgess from Heritage High School. They will find out who the winner is this afternoon. Thank you.
On the edge of my seat, who's going to be the winner? Let's see. Boys and Girls Club doing great work. Chairman Saines. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have some tenacious Tigers in the House who traveled from Kingsland, Georgia at 5 a.m. this morning, so they might be a bit of tired Tigers today. But these 4th and 5th grade students are a shining example on why, under your leadership, Mr. Speaker, this House is making historic investments in reading comprehension. So again, please help me in congratulating these 4th and 5th graders who've collectively read the most in the state and are supported by their coach, Dr. Carter Day, and Miss Maroon, Miss Bloom, Dr. Bowder, Mr. Wilson, and Miss Wilson. Thank you. Congratulations.
Representative Hong, recognized for a morning order.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
friends.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I want to introduce you to Roots and Routes Indo-U.S. Chamber of Commerce. They are a group of Indian Americans who are small business owners, doctors, entrepreneurs, and I had a great chance to meet them and speak to their group over the summer in Columbus. Many of them live in Columbus as well. We are joined by some of the leaders of that chamber group in the front of the gallery today. So please help me welcome them to the Capitol. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Members, that completes our morning orders. Glad to have all of our guests in the gallery today and in the Capitol. Welcome to York State Capitol. We're going to move on to the rules calendar. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 158?
House Bill 158 by Representative Franklin of the 160th and others, to be entitled an act to amend Part 3 of Article 16 to Chapter 1 and Title 10 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to registration of businesses using trade names so as to provide for filing of registration statements with the Office of the Secretary of State. This bill has been referred to the Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Representative Lehman Franklin is going to present House Bill 158. The gentleman from Statesboro, Representative Franklin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, House Bill 158, I started on this last session, and we just got pretty busy and went through committee a couple of times. We worked on it, got to the rules, and we just basically ran out of time. But I'm very happy to say that it's in front of you now for your consideration. But what it basically does is it allows a consolidation of trade names and doing business as in the state of Georgia. Currently, right now, when you file for a corporation, it goes to the Secretary of State and is recorded there in that database, and you can go there and find it. But if you're filing as a trade name or doing business as, you're required to file it within the county that you're primarily doing business in. So if you're going back and trying to find this and discover that organization or that company, you have to currently search all 159 counties in Georgia independently to be able to determine if that company is doing business in Georgia. So what this bill does is it allows for the clerks of court, after they file it and record it and register it, to send it over to the Georgia Superior Court Clerk's Corporative Authority to be able to have it located there for its database so that you can go there and have basically a one-shot search and determine whether that business is doing business in Georgia. Nothing changes with the clerks of court. They still get their money, the 15% process fee. This bill also allows you to be able to take out or eliminate businesses that no longer are doing business in Georgia. Currently, there is no process for that. So a lot of the counties, the databases has these multiple companies that are no longer exist. So this also allows us to be able to clean up that database as well. And Mr. Speaker, if there's no more questions or anything, then I ask for their favorable consideration.
The gentleman has a question. Representative Roberts to your left is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I certainly do.
Two questions. Does this replace the Secretary of State's Corporations Division or Directory? And then second, our law firm uses the Superior Court, I can't think of the name that you just said, and they charge us to search for certain things. Will there be a charge to search corporations there?
So for your first question, no, it does not do anything different from the Secretary of State. That still remains intact. Your second question about whether they were charged, my understanding is nothing will change with that. Your current fee is your fee, and with that fee, you'll be able to go in there and find those records. There's not any more work on their part. For it's a mouthful. For the corporate authority, it's no more work for them.
Can I ask a clarifying
Absolutely.
question? So the public won't have to pay a fee to see if a corporation is registered in Georgia through that database?
You know, I don't know about that.
Okay.
I'd have to get with you on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I may have some clarity for you on that. Representative Leverett to your right is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The gentleman yield.
Certainly do.
Isn't it true that this bill does not in any way change the manner in which one files with the Secretary of State to form a corporation, limited liability company, or limited partnership in the state of Georgia?
That's exactly right.
Is it not further true that your bill is simply creating a much more accessible filing database of the trade name registrations, which currently are done in Superior Court county by county?
I couldn't say it any clearer.
Thank you.
Absolutely
I thought
right.
so. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, if there's no further questions, I will yield the will.
The gentleman has no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman's yielded the will. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of House Bill 158, the yeas are 168, the nays are 3. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 1191, 1191?
House Bill 1191 by Representative Osteen in the 169th and others to be entitled Act to amend Article 3, Chapter 2, Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Antenna relating to prestige license plates and special plates for certain persons and vehicles, so as to provide for additional military medal awards eligible for special veteran license plates. This bill having referred to the Committee on Motor Vehicles, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Representative Angie Osteen from Blackshear, Georgia, right? Yeah, Ambrose. Oh, you want to be specific. Ambrose, yeah, I got you. Ambrose, Georgia, then. Representative Osteen is recognized to speak to House Bill 1191. Members, if you'll give the lady in the well your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to tell you a story before I became elected in this position. I spent a lot of time in a school, and I did Veterans Day programs and 9/11 Day programs, and I learned to have a very special place in my heart for people who have served this country and who have stood in line so that I wouldn't have to. So on the first day of session this year, there was a friend of mine who was a constituent. He's now a friend of mine who's a veteran, who was in my office at 8 o'clock. And he has been trying to get an Airman's Medal tag for over 8 years, and it was unsuccessful. So I took him to Chairman Corbett's office and met with the DOR and asked what the possibility would be to add 4 medals, honor medals, for veterans who are eligible for distinctive license plates. This bill also carries a special and distinctive license plate for members and retired members of the U.S. Navy Submarine Service. It's $25 to get this. I decided a long time ago that it's important for our veterans to be able to tell their story. As legislators, we're allowed to tell our story with our tags. What kind of people would we be if we didn't allow them to do that? Mr. Speaker, I'll stand for questions or yield the well.
The lady has a question. Chairman Parsons to your left is recognized for a question.
Thanks, Speaker. Lady Yield.
Yes, sir.
Is it not true that just this past weekend I had gone to the Department of Revenue website? I have a new car. Is it not true? And I thought instead of my legislative tag, I would get a veteran's tag. So I had seen the list. But having been in the military for over 20 years, what I must ask you though, is it not true? What exactly is a Airman's Medal? What is that?
So I just happened to have the person that was in my office, I have something from him. I'm trying to think if he explained exactly what it was. Hang on just a second. I am not an expert in this, but what I am an expert in is being appreciative for those of you, people like you, who have served this country, and I want to be able to honor them. If this is the one thing that they ask us to do is to be able to get that medal for that tag, I want to be able to do it for them.
Yes, ma'am. Do you further yield?
Yes, sir.
It's not true. I fully support your bill. It was just a question. I've never actually seen
Sure.
that particular medal, so. But thank you.
I had not either.
And
I had not either.
thank you for your work on this.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I yield the will.
Ladies yielded the well. And Representative Osteen, I misspoke to you, so I apologize for that. Good job. The ladies yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of House Bill 1191, the yeas are 170, the nays are 0. This bill having received the requisite constitutional majority is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 1192.
House Bill 1192 by Representatives Taylor of the 173rd and others to be entitled An Act to Amend Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to public assistance so as to provide for certain accounting practices by the Department of Human Services and the Department of Community Health. This bill having referred to the Committee on Health, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Chair Lady Darlene Taylor is recognized to present House Bill 1192.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, HB 1192 relates to accounting practices and procedures for the Departments of Human Resources and Community Health. The bill will require all federal and state funds to have separate accountings, and it will provide us with better transparency. The bill will also require the department to provide reports annually to the House and Senate in both the Health and the Appropriation Committees. It's a very simple bill. It's very straightforward. If there are no questions, I will ask for your favorable consideration of this measure.
Lady has no questions.
I yield the well. Thank you.
Lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All? I got you, Representative Cannon. Take your time. All members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk, we'll lock the machine. On the passage of House Bill 1192, the yeas are 170, nays are 0. This bill having received the requisite constitutional majority is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 1195, 1195.
House Bill 1195 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd and others to be titled an act to amend Article 7 of Chapter 50 of Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to telemedicine by veterinarians and veterinary technicians, so as to revise provisions relating to the practice and provision of veterinary teletriage. This bill having referred to the Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
The gentleman from Elberton, Representative Rob Leverett, is recognized to present the bill. Chairman Leverett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, House Bill 1195 is largely a cleanup measure. It ensures that veterinary poison control centers can continue to offer their service in the state. Last year we passed Senate Bill 105 that authorized veterinary telemedicine, teleadvice, and teletriage. There were some restrictions in that bill that arguably would prevent just a simple veterinary poison control center from operating, one that you dial into when your dog or your cat or whatever pet gets into something that's not good for it. It also potentially would assist with if you have a livestock and that has distress in birth and you need some help, it's beyond your specialty. So this removes a geographic restriction that was in the bill from last year and just allows these kinds of entities to offer services and will also allow a vet to offer that sort of service. Just for a little extra bonus, if we could fire up those photos I gave earlier to House Media Services. So that is Charlie. That is my black lab who one day decided to eat a metal pie pan, a heavy gauge metal. He ate the whole thing. Obviously, he was distressed, as was I, and we were able to get that taken care of. If we can continue scrolling through, that is Representative Oliver's dog, Henry, who she cares very much about. And the third one, that is Maverick, which is Whip Burchett's dog, being held by some unidentified child there. I'm not sure who that is. Actually, that's Bo, his younger son. And there's just two bonus pictures of Charlie thrown in there at Christmas time for you. So Charlie, Henry, and Maverick and I would greatly appreciate your support of this bill. And that is the bill, Mr. Speaker. I'll stand for questions.
Gentleman has a question. Representative Almighty Barnes, to your left, is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it not true that I work with veterinarians and vet techs every day, and this would, we have a shortage of vet techs in the state. Is that not true?
That is correct.
And would this help expand the practice for our veterinarian technicians?
Yes, it would, I believe. And by the way, the Department of Agriculture and the Veterinary Association do support the bill. We collaborated with them on the language.
Thank you. I appreciate the bill.
Thank you for the question.
Whip Burchett, right in front of you, is dying to ask a question. Gentleman's recognized.
Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, I yield.
Is this your Christmas tree?
It is.
You ever heard of a Charlie Brown Christmas tree?
Actually, that's a 7-foot tree. Don't let that picture deceive you. Charlie's rather large.
Good bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Whip.
We're not going to recognize him with any more questions, but you don't have any more questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your favorable support, and I'll yield the well.
Gentleman's yielded the well. Good bill. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine, on the passage of House Bill 1195. The yeas are 172, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 717.
House Bill 717 by Representative Cooper, the 45th and others, to be entitled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 34, Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to the Medical Practice Act of the State of Georgia, so as to provide further regulation of the administration of psychedelic assisted treatment and therapy. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Public and Community Health. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair Lady Cooper is recognized to present House Bill 717. Ladies recognized. Give the lady to your attention, please. Members, I hope you'll listen up. We have the presenter, and then we have a couple of speakers opposed and in favor of this bill. So please give the lady your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring to you House Bill 717. This is a very serious issue. The intent of this bill is to license ketamine clinics and establish parameters that promote safe and effective prescribing, administration, and post-treatment monitoring of psychedelic-assisted treatment and therapy. Ketamine is a very, very dangerous drug. It is FAD approved only to use as an anesthetic. And when even the anesthesiologist and nurse anesthetist use it in surgery, when they finish, the protocol is for them to go to the recovery room and point out to the nurses in the recovery room that they have given this drug. That is not what they do with other ones that they use to put people to sleep. But it's because of what it does. It's a psychedelic drug. People can have out-of-body experiences. They can hallucinate. There is a variety of side effects that occur from this drug. All of a sudden, there with no loopholes and no oversight, we're beginning to get ketamine clinics across our state. They are functioning without any regulation, any safety precautions, such as having equipment and having the knowledge to be able to resuscitate a patient that stops breathing, which is one of the possible side effects. And that means you have to be able to intubate a patient. In other words, put a tube down into a patient's lung and breathe for them. That is a very difficult procedure and not one that regular nurses or even nurse practitioners are taught to do. That comes with our nurse anesthetists. So what this bill would do, it lays out the parameter. It does not keep them from being to functioning, but it means that they have to follow, and that the Board of Medicine, who has asked for this bill, would set up rules for them to follow, like having the safety equipment, putting parameters about what doses they give. Right now, it is wide open. And they're giving these drugs, ketamine, IV. That means it's going straight into your blood system and straight to your heart. There is no reporting method that they were required to go out to our drug reporting system and see if these patients are on other narcotics. Those, if they are, just enhances the side effects and the danger with ketamine. People can walk into a clinic, one of these clinics that are functioning. They don't have to have any medical check or history or about other problems that they have. and they can have this IV equipment. When you see pictures of the equipment, there's just a big room and a reclining chair where they are given the IV. The side effects can occur immediately, or they can occur 2 and 3 and 4 hours afterwards. There's no restriction on how long they have to be observed, if they can drive themselves. It's just sort of a wild open west. And this bill would allow the Board of Medicine to put parameters around the use. One of the reasons why it's so important to get control over these bills, not do away with them, but make sure that they are safely, if they're going to use ketamine as a treatment, that they are doing it in a safe manner, is because there are more psychedelic drugs coming that are under study now that are even more dangerous. How about ecstasy, or magic mushrooms, or mollies? These are even more dangerous than ketamine. So this is a chance in this bill to get ahead to make sure that the people of Georgia, if they go to one of these clinics, that there are safety factors in place to try to protect them. You know, unfortunately, you hear about a drug and you think, oh, well, that'll cure my arthritis. They're even being billed some places that'll cure Lyme's disease. Or, you know, it's really going to help with this illness or another. Just add them up. It's a very lucrative business. Somewhere I was told here that the amount of money people get for them for 6-week treatment is somewhere between $8,000 and $12,000. So people have found a way to, you know, pad their bank accounts. It does put a limit on who can own these clinics. This is a medical treatment. It is not to, and therefore what we did and the Board of Medicine wanted would be that physicians would own and could own 51%, and nurse anesthetists who are trained to, you know, give anesthesia and are capable of this, in doing the safety factors that they need, could own 49%. Here again, not wanting people to keep from getting these treatments, but putting parameters around them to make them safer. That's the bill. Mr. Speaker, I'll be glad to answer questions if there are questions, and if not, I will leave the well.
The lady has a couple of questions. If you'll yield, I think she said she would. Representative McQueen is recognized for a question to your left.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlelady yield?
Yes, I will.
Yes. Can you point to data or evidence showing that majority physician ownership, as opposed to the training, certification, and enforceable clinical protocols, that majority physician ownership independently improves patient safety outcomes?
I'm not sure that I can point to that, but I will tell you that physicians, and you asked me earlier of why couldn't nurse anesthetists own these clinics by themselves. Nurse anesthetists cannot order any medication, not one. The doctors, when they work in the hospitals, the doctors order the medications and put the parameters for how much will be given to patients. So you got me? It's right now. Nurse anesthetists may not and do not have the right to order any medications. These medications have to come from somewhere, and the person who takes that responsibility is going to be the person that is sued should something go wrong. That rest it's a medical procedure and would rest with the MDs. And MDs, on the other hand, too, are not allowed to work for people that are lesser trained than they are. Okay?
Lady recognized for another question. Yield for another question. Representative Gamble, to your right in the back.
Does the gentlelady yield?
I do.
Thank you. And I know and I appreciate the conversation we've been able to have about this bill. And you know kind of the position that I've been in on this, but and I've certainly heard your concerns that are very legitimate as well. I did want to ask one point of clarification. This article that was put on our desk from California, is it not true that it was a doctor that prescribed ketamine in this case with Matthew Perry and not a CNRA?
Oh, certainly, and I had no intention, I don't think it even mentioned CRNA there. It was put there to show, and I will agree, there are doctors that function as close to the line and sometimes over it, just like there are in any of the areas of medicine or business. And one of the things this would do would allow the Board of Nursing, allow the Board of Medicine to know where these clinics are and to regulate and, make sure that that type of doctor is not practicing in the state of Georgia unless they follow the safety guidelines.
Thank you for that clarification. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So,
Lady Yield for another. She has one more question.
okay.
Representative Davis, to your right. Viola Davis.
That's the gentlelady Yield.
I do.
I just want to clarify. Did you say that nurses are not trained to intubate?
Regular RNs? No, ma'am, they're not.
But
I am a registered nurse with advanced degree, and they are not trained to do that on a regular basis.
Or ICU nurses? Or people who are trained in ACLS, the Advanced Life Support, trained to intubate?
Yes, but that's a very few nurses that are trained that way.
Representative Barnes, to your left, is recognized. This will be the final question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlelady yield?
Yes.
Thank you. Is it not true that CRNAs go through a rigorous education prior to being able to give medicine?
They have 2 years of training, yes.
Thank you.
Lady has no further questions.
Okay. With that, Mr. Speaker, I will yield the well and did want to say that the current clinics that are in practice now can continue. I wish that weren't what would happen, and that's what's happening in the bill, but it's sort of a compromise. What we hope will happen is that and hopefully you put your seal on this bill, that as clinics that are stressing safety and run the correct way become the standard, that these other clinics would then live up to those standards also. But they may continue to function, so this is not going to put anybody that owns a clinic now out of business. With that, Mr. Speaker, I will yield the well. Thank you. And I ask for your favorable vote for the safety of the patients of Georgia. Thank you.
Ladies, yielded the well. We have some speakers in favor of and opposed. Representative McDonald and Representative Park Cannon will be recognized to speak in opposition to the bill. Representative McDonald, Chairman McDonald is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I rise today to speak in opposition to House Bill 717. Let me begin by saying this clearly. I support regulation of ketamine clinics. I believe they should be licensed, inspected, and held to a strong enforceable safety standard. Oversight is appropriate, accountability is appropriate, and patient protection is appropriate. But House Bill 717 simply does not regulate clinics. It restructures ownership and clinical authority in a way that prioritizes title over training and control over competency. This bill hard codes physicians' majority ownership into statute. It assumes that safety flows from ownership structure rather than from training, education, and demonstrated skill. That is not how we regulate anesthesia services elsewhere in Georgia. It's how we should be approaching this issue here. Certified registered nurse anesthetists, CRNAs, are not general practitioners dabbling in sedation. They are anesthesia specialists that receive extensive training in anesthetic pharmacology, sedation management, and patient monitoring and airway control. In many of these clinics, CRNAs have more direct hands-on experience with ketamine and procedural sedation than physicians who practice are not anesthesia-focused. Yet this bill ignores that reality. It says that no matter the training, no matter the experience, and no matter the safety record, ownership must rest with the physicians. That is not competency-based regulation. That is title-based regulation. There has been no data presented to this body demonstrating a widespread safety crisis existing with ketamine clinics operated by CRNAs. No systemic evidence of harm that would justify restructuring an entire market around ownership restrictions. Regulation should respond to demonstrated risk. It should not be built on assumptions. What this bill will do, clearly, it reduces access. Requiring physician majority ownership limits who can open clinics. It limits expansion. It reduces workforce flexibility and increases cost in a space where many patients are already paying out of pocket for this type of treatment. Grandfathering existing clinics does not solve the long-term problem. It simply locks in a physician-controlled model for the future, regardless of outcomes, innovation, and access needs. It permanently prevents CRNAs from wholly owning or expanding clinics, even if they are operating safely, effectively today. That is not forward-thinking policy. Members, we can regulate these clinics. We can set standards. We can empower the medical board to oversee safety, inspections, reporting, requirements, and disciplinary action. But we do not need to restrict ownership in a way that sidelines highly trained anesthesia professionals. The fix here is simple. Allow CRNAs to wholly own these clinics, as many already do safely today, while maintaining strong regulatory oversight. Let's focus on patient safety, not professional turf. Let's focus on competency, not title. And let's ensure access to care while maintaining high standards. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I oppose House Bill 717. Thank you. I yield the well.
Gentleman yielded the well. Representing Park Cannon is recognized to speak to the bill. And Representing Al, you'll be blessed. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members, for paying attention to a piece of legislation that has been widely publicized because of reality TV. Many of you might have watched a postpartum mom dealing with depression finally go to a ketamine clinic and learn more about how she could get through her postpartum depression. And then her partner, he had decided that he had some things to work on, and he started going to a ketamine clinic and also realized that the depression that he was dealing with could be helped by ketamine. Those ketamine clinics that they were going to were not owned by doctors. Instead, they were owned by qualified and certified nurse anesthetists. So this bill regulates ketamine clinics, and we're grateful for that because we see the importance of the issue. But this bill pushes ownership by physicians and denies well-qualified nurse anesthetists from becoming business owners. How can we say that we're the #1 state to do business and continue to tell well-qualified nurses that they're not good enough to become business owners? The last thing I'll say about this legislation is many of us in committee understood that there are a number of healthcare providers who should be included in this legislation to provide wraparound services. If you receive care, many social workers would say you should also have to speak with them. You should have to speak with some sort of mental health provider. So today we're just asking to include CRNAs in ownership and to consider adding other mental health care providers to the clinical team. Thank you, and I yield the well.
Ladies yielded the well. That completes those speaking against the bill. Representing Al, Representing Dr. Al is recognized to speak in favor of the bill. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to go off my prepared remarks for just a second just to respond to some of the arguments in opposition. I will note that most of the arguments I heard against relate to business and profits and ownership. So what I would just say is this, and everyone's free to decide how to vote on their own, but if you want to argue for 100% of the profits, you should be taking 100% of the responsibility for that patient's outcome. So I rise to speak in favor of HB 717. This is a good bill, this is a necessary bill, and it is a public safety bill as well as a patient safety bill. Each of these on their own is a good reason, but really what I want to tell you is that as an anesthesiologist who regularly administers ketamine to patients, not in an outpatient infusion clinic like we're talking about, but in a hospital operating room, I understand and I respect this medication. Okay? I know that we need to regulate who and whether and how it is administered to patients in an outpatient setting. So first, I want to note that this is not actually a doctor bill, no matter how it's being framed, or a nursing bill, or a bill brought by any patient care providers, right? This is a bill that was brought to us by the Georgia Composite Medical Board, which is the body that licenses healthcare professional, regulates medical practice, and educates the public by handling complaints and verifying credentials, right? So they don't work for doctors or nurses. They are the law enforcement that keeps our profession in line and makes sure that we are accountable if we endanger our patients or the public. So I take it very seriously that they proactively brought this issue to us, because we've seen what's happened in the past when we are not proactive, right? Recall that in the 2000s, there were unregulated pain clinics, or pill mills as they became known. They became rampant and dispensed controlled substances, particularly opioids, without legitimate medical justification or proper oversight. So these clinics often engaged in cash for pill exchanges, contributing significantly, as we know now, to the opioid overdose epidemic. So thanks to legislative action in this state, from this body, and others, regulations, in particular the state's prescription drug monitoring programs, or PDMPs, now exist to combat these practices, right? But not before a lot of harm was done and a lot of risk was incurred. So that's what this bill aims to preempt. Ketamine, as we've heard, is a very powerful, what we call a dissociative anesthetic. Some may be familiar with its use as a veterinary drug or a club drug. Right? More recently, it's been studied as a treatment for pain or for refractory depression. Now remember that no drugs are good or bad, right? Medications are what they are and they work how they work. But as providers, we can be good or bad in our approach, in our expertise, in our care, and in our caution when handling these drugs. In the most recent committee hearing for HB 717, someone asked us a very fair question, which is how many ketamine clinics are currently operating in the state? It's a good question, right? And the answer was, we don't know, right? We don't know how many clinics there are. We don't know who is administering these medications, with what training, at what doses. We don't know how these clinics are equipped. We don't know the emergency protocols that are in place, and we don't know how the patients are screened or monitored or recovered. So frankly, as an anesthesiologist, I can think of very few things more terrifying than the idea of a patient receiving a ketamine infusion, being perfunctorily discharged by someone who does not understand how this medication works, and then allowing them to drive home. As someone who has kids and family members, or who shares the road with other people, this should terrify you as well. I said at the top of my remarks that this is a necessary bill. It's a patient safety bill and a public safety bill. It is all of these things, and that's why I'm encouraging you to please vote yes on HB 717, because I can tell you for a fact that when something bad happens as a result of unregulated ketamine clinics, when a patient's life is risked, when someone is injured, when a member of the public is killed, Georgians will look to us, Okay, they will look to us knowing we had this bill in front of us and that we knew the risks and we were asked to act. And they will demand to know, how could you let this happen? Why didn't you do something sooner? And with that, I know I don't have to do this, but Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to take any questions.
Lady has no questions.
Excellent.
Well,
Please vote
she
yes.
has one question. Representative Cannon, recognized for a question. Park Cannon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Do you yield?
I do.
Does this bill differentiate between intramuscular use of ketamine, lozenges, or does it just put it all in as one?
Ketamine infusion clinics infuse ketamine, which is IV administration of ketamine.
Do you further yield?
I do.
Are you aware that in the state of Georgia, some ketamine clinics don't only do that IV version of ketamine, in fact, some do lozenges?
Well, Representative Cannon, I think that the point of this bill is that whether or not we know is dependent on whether we regulate these clinics. So I think that's a great point. Thank you for that question.
Lady has no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Representative has yielded the well. That concludes our speakers on the bill, opposed and in favor. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. We'll now recognize the chair of the committee for the chair's time on the bill. Chair Lady Cooper is recognized to speak during chairman's time. You'll have up to 20 minutes. The lady's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to clarify a couple of things. Nurse practitioners can own a part of these clinics. They are recognized, and as I said, they are the ones who are certainly would be qualified to, give the injections, and then if the patient gets in respiratory trouble, to be there to help them survive. But the difference would be who could make the final decision if it came down to a question if you were going to do something about a clinic. The physicians in this bill can own 51%. The nurse anesthetist can own 49%. If you have both of them owning 50%, then who makes the decision and who wins? It becomes a problem. And so that is why the bill is written for 51% for physicians. The physicians are not trying to take over a monopoly of doing this. They have just seen clinics across our country become a $3.6 billion business, not a medical practice, not making sure these patients are okay and don't have other comorbidities that would put them at risk, but are just regular businesses. Sort of like the businesses are not now buying up houses, and we have a problem with a housing shortage. And they're run by people that are businessmen, not medical practitioners. So they are just trying to make these clinics safe. The other thing, you said, oh, well, we could have all these rules for them. The Board of Medicine would only be able to regulate physicians in this case. So when we talk about putting in safety rules and all the requirements, they would not be able to do it. Here again, into the questions about the launches, and I always never can say that word, the form that you suck. The FDA has just put out another warning about how dangerous those are. In talking to people, and when I went to the early morning discussions about this bill today, one of the members brought up the fact that this has become quite the thing with young people in the 20 to 30-year-old range of going and just having one of these ketamine treatments for the fun of it and for the high they might get. And that it's talked about, and this representative has young people in the age group, or just under it, and said that their own child had talked about what their friends were doing. That's not what the purpose of the drug was. That's why it's so dangerous. once you take it, you want, as the article I put out on your desk, it tends to be very addictive, and people want more and more of it. So those were just to answer some of your questions. Here again, I would ask for you to think of this as a medical procedure, not just a regular business, and to vote for the safety of patients in Georgia. Thank you very much. Oh, yes. And Mr. Speaker, I will yield my time to our doctor in the House.
The gentlelady does have some additional time. Chairman Newton, yield to you have up to 16 minutes. Hope you don't take that long. But the gentleman does have that long, but it's up to the gentleman. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I do want to reach out on this. I know between Dr. Al and I, we've probably given the most amount of this drug to people of all ages, for me, from children all the way to senior adults. If your hip's out of joint, if your child has a bad facial laceration, this is a great medicine. I will venture to say Dr. Al and I are probably the only two who've seen people stop breathing because of this medicine in this body and know how serious a drug this is. You know, recently I had a bill on post-exposure prophylaxis and PrEP. We advance scope of practice, if you will, to pharmacists in that bill. We do that on a regular basis. I probably work, along with her, with more nurse practitioners and physician assistants than anyone in here, and they're incredibly valuable members from back when I was in the Army with PAs out in a battle area with me. So these are all important things for us to make sure that we have the right team that is approaching different medical procedures. This particular one, though, because of the safety and the danger with this evolving field, I feel it's wise for us to be a little bit on the safe side when it comes to supervision, when it comes to regulation, as these medications that do on occasion require you or your family member to be intubated. I'm not saying CRNAs can't do that, but there is a team approach that's appropriate for this. No bill we have here is perfect. Probably none of us like 100% of even the bills we write ourselves that we sponsor. So no bill is perfect. I think this is an important first step for us as this field evolves to get out of the Wild West where we are now with almost zero state oversight and get it back into an area where we can continue. We reassess things every year here. That's one reason we come back, is to fix last year's problems. So I would like to say this is a good first step for us to make sure that in Georgia, this is a practice that is done safely. And I think I strongly support the bill, and I appreciate the author. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman is yielded to well. We have no further speakers on this bill. So we have Dr. Al and, Representative Dr. Al and Representative Dr. Newton are in favor of the bill. Did I understand you guys? Okay, just making sure I was listening. I do get distracted up here. That concludes our discussion on the bill. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute of House Bill 717? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. The vote on House Bill 717, the yeas are 73, the nays are 88. This bill, having failed to receive the requisite constitutional majority, therefore fails. For what purposes Leader illustration rise.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to House Rule 143, I serve notice of the intent to reconsider the House's action on the bill just passed.
The gentleman would like to make that motion. He has that right and will be taken up on the next legislative day. Members, House Bill 717 will be taken up before morning orders tomorrow. Okay, we're going to have some announcements, and we're going to take a break for lunch. Representative Bell needs to talk about those wings again. Wingman. Gentleman's recognized.
Today, as I stated earlier, is Lemon Pepper Wing Day. We have wings for all our colleagues in room 502 when we break for lunch. They are brought to us by American Deli. Miss Carrie in the back. She brought us the wings. If you all can give Miss Carrie a round of applause. Thank you, Miss Carrie, for supporting us, supporting this bill. And I will see you in room 502 in the club for lunch. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will.
Representative Rhonda Taylor. How about Representative Carlton Howard? The gentleman's recognized for an announcement. Representative Taylor, I'll get you next. The gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, today is Faith and Clergy Day, Appreciation Day here at the Capitol. There are hundreds of men and women of God roaming the Capitol, but today at 2 p.m., between 2 and 2:20, there will be a prayer gathering in the rotunda. And 2:30, there will be a group photo for those clergy that are in the Capitol with us today. Please join us for prayer at between 2 and 2:20 p.m. in the rotunda.
Representative Taylor is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies, the Women's Legislative Caucus will be meeting immediately upon adjournment in 605 CLOB. And today we're having a delicious meal and a presentation from Georgia Health Initiative. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Representative Todd Jones, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Technology, Infrastructure, and Innovation will be meeting at 1 p.m. In room 406. We will be quick. Thank you.
Representative Bruce Williamson, Chairman Williamson, is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There will be a majority caucus lunch during the lunch break. A majority caucus lunch in room 403. Thank you.
Members, you need to hear this next announcement, so please give Chairman Jaspers your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Those of you on our Transportation Committee will meet at 1 o'clock in 506, which is a very short meeting to pass out our road naming bill. So we need your attendance. Real quick meeting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Important bill. Chairman Parrish, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask the members of the Rules Committee to meet me in room 341 at 1 o'clock. 341, 1 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay, listen up, members. We're going to be in recess until 2 p.m., but here's the part you need to hear. If you have a page, I will meet you back here at 1:45 to take page photos. 1:45 we'll take page photos, but this house will be be recessed until 2 o'clock p.m. This house will be in recess. Enjoy your lunch.